All right, here we go. We are live on YouTube. Let's go and let's see if we get Facebook Live. All right, hey, okay, we got that going. And two, one, hey, welcome to another episode of Arts Place. Here we are. It is May 13th, 2018. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Maxine Waters, that great congressman from, or congresswoman from California, who resents the fact or the mention of making America great again. We'll talk about that and why she's all on the Twitter about that, and we'll talk about fundraising for some of the races here in Colorado for state house, state senate, the governorship. We'll talk about that, and later today we will do some drone stuff, some drone news. I will show you some of my equipment that I have here, and let you know a little bit about my new company I've got going. All right, let's see. My usual software that I'm using, for some reason, it's not liking my camera, so I'm doing a live feed on both my YouTube channel and here on Facebook. So it seems to be. I think it works a lot better because it looks like I'm not getting any buffering issues. So thank you, folks, for joining in, Lisa, Marty, and Bradley. All right, let's get her going. All right, pardon my office; it's a little messy. I've been mailing some eBay items that I've sold. So yeah, I've got a few boxes there. Alrighty. Oh, and I want to wish all you moms out there a happy Mother's Day, and hope everybody is having a great day with their moms, grandmas, and aunts out there. Enjoy. Alrighty. So, Maxine Waters. Yeah, let's talk about that crazy lady. She is a black congresswoman from California. I'm guessing she's from Los Angeles area, and I she's been there quite a long time. I think since the early 2000s. So she's been there quite a bit, and she's the one that's always trying to get Donald Trump impeached. For what? I don't know. There's absolutely no evidence that Donald Trump has broken any laws other than she hates him. And frankly, I think she's a racist because, she hates white people. And she thinks that the U.S. government is there to, support anybody, all the minorities, and they don't want them working. But she was in a debate with a congressman from, I believe, Pennsylvania, and she got all in a lather about mentioning "Make America Great." Now, why does she not want America to be great? I think it's because it's becoming great, and she resents it because, well, it's proves that everything that she stands for is wrong, has been a disaster. None of their policies have worked. Look at the Democrats' policy on economics and on trade and foreign policy. It's been a failure on all three fronts. Let's look back at, okay, Mike Kelly was the congressman that she was having a debate for. She was Rick's Make America Great slogan. Okay. She doesn't like it. On the economic front, let's just look at what the Democrats' policies have been on the economy. Hey, welcome, Maria. Thanks for coming to the show. Okay, Democrats say they believe in redistribution of wealth, so they love taxes. They think that, okay, we'll tax the rich, we'll take their money, and we'll give it to the needy or the poor. That rather than trying to build an economy to where more and more people were working, becoming more taxpayers, so that they could raise revenues to pay for all the programs that need money. So what that ends up doing is that puts a damper on the economy and it slows it down to a point where, if you look at Obama's record on GDP, it's never gotten higher than 2%. Maybe for one quarter or a couple quarters. But it's always been, if you average out the GDP under Obama, it's been under 2%. It's moved very slowly. It would have been even worse hadn't it been to states that have had really good economies going, such as Texas and North Dakota. And the reason their economies did well is because they are based on the oil industry. And the oil industry is basically what kept this country from sliding into a recession, because of fracking and because of the big oil find up in North Dakota that helped to bring down the price of oil, which brought down costs for manufacturing. And manufacturing costs came down because of, their electric bills came down. And plus, a lot of materials are made from petroleum products. So the price of that goes down. that computes with the cost of materials for the goods that the companies make their products with, such as plastics uh, and lubricants too, as well. So that keeps the economy going. Because if you remember early in the Obama administration, we had gas prices near $4 a gallon. I mean, it was ridiculously high. And out in California, where taxes are really high, especially on gas and oil, gasoline was over $4 a gallon. So that helped to keep the economy from sinking further and further. And another thing is Democrats say they hate the oil industry because what the oil industry represents is freedom. Because what it does is when the price of oil goes down, it allows people to travel more and live outside the city. And when they could live outside the city, they could commute back and forth, and that helps out the the the, uh, the workers and the manufacturers. Like, for example, I work in downtown Denver, and I live out in the suburbs, and so it really helped me out. It was almost like having a tax break, and this allows the economy to to flourish, and to when the economy gets going, more and more people get hired. So that's one thing they hate about the oil industry. They hate coal industry because that uh, helps out manufacturing in producing electricity, and they want to tax electrical power uh, so that they get more revenue coming in from these companies. But when the price of electricity goes up, manufacturers that adds into the cost of their goods, and when their goods cost more, fewer people buy those goods, and when fewer people buy those goods, then the companies have to cut back on production, and then they start letting workers go, or they start cutting their their uh, oh just excuse me, somebody just gave me a message. Very sad news. Aurora Mayor Steve Hogan has passed away. He passed away this morning. Uh, Very wonderful guy. I've met Steve several times when I lived in Aurora. I voted for him. Um, Very wonderful guy. That's very sad news. Thank you, Bradley, for that information. Uh, Very sad. It was just a few days ago. It was announced that Mayor Hogan was in home hospice with terminal cancer, and if I'm correct, I think he had brain cancer, which that is a real bad one to get. My mother had it, and when they first diagnosed it, she had like several small tumors in her head, and we decided to go with the radiation, and well, that didn't help too much. She was gone in 6 weeks. But it was the results from her lung cancer that went metastatic and spread to her brain. So that is very sad news. Steve Hogan was a very good mayor of Aurora. Really got that city on the right path. They just opened up the Gaylord project up in North Aurora out by DIA, which is kind of like a hotel slash theme park there. So I don't know too much about it. They've been working on that for many, many years. So, oh boy, I'm really sad to hear about that. Uh, I've worked for the city of Aurora for 2 years. I was on the open space advisory board, and I've been that out of I've been on two boards. That board I had the most fun and got the most enjoyment out of it. Yeah, and got to work with some really good people. All right, let's get back to Mad Maxine Waters. Uh, we were talking about Democrats' economic policies and why they fail. Other foreign policy, horrible, 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 horrible. Because uh, their ideas, they think that America is what is the problem with the world. So they purposely withdrew us, and because of that, that helped to uh, get some of these extreme Islamic radicals to flourish in the Middle East. Because we pulled out of Iraq, ISIS formed and nearly took over that country. And now, because of Donald Trump, they pretty much have been destroyed in Syria, and the Syrian war, although it's still going on, looks like it's fast approaching a quick end, depending on what happens there. So they failed on that front. They gave Iran billions of dollars for a nuclear deal that everyone in DC with half a brain knew that these people weren't to be trusted. They violated just about everything in that agreement. And now that we pulled out, oh, the Democrats are all in a Twitter and they're all ticked off about that. Okay. We're good on YouTube. Alrighty, we're back. It was a really bad deal. Uh, my wondering is how much did the Democrats skim off on that deal? I think it was something like $400 billion. No, it was $150 billion that went to Iran. Now, how much did the Obamas, the Clintons, and the Kerrys get? I bet they skimmed off quite a bit of money, and that money is probably in a Swiss bank, and the Obamas are set for life financially. Same with the Clintons. The only thing the Clintons have to worry about is the Clinton Global Initiative, which looks like it's dead right now because it's been exposed as a fraud that it is. Also, North Korea. The Democrats bent over backwards to let North Korea off the hook. They basically, well, the Clintons, Bill Clinton, pretty much gave North Korea their nuclear reactor and allowed them to develop nuclear weapons. And now Donald Trump is on the verge of ending, ending that war, because that war was never ended. There was an armistice signed, but the war was still ongoing. Now that looks like it's going to come to an end because of Donald Trump, because he was tough on North Korea. And the North Koreans, they realized that, well, hey, we could talk tough, but this guy is really serious about wiping us out, even if we tried something. They're not stupid like the mullahs of Iran. They want to live. Kim Jong Un is not a radical in the sense of the mullahs in Iran. So what's going on is they're going to have a meeting next month in Singapore, and they're going to denuclearize North Korea. And you know what would be great is if Kim Jong Un can allow the two Koreas to merge together and become a single country, kind of like what happened with East and West Germany. That would be wonderful. Although it'd be a huge strain on the South Koreans, because they would basically have to foot the bill for North Korea, because the infrastructure is just not there. And they have all those people that they have to take care of. West Germany had the same problem with East Germany, and it's going to take many, many years for North Korea to recover. And probably what's going to happen is Kim Jong Un's going to work out a deal where, all right, we will let North Korea be part of South Korea. We will possibly have elections to where we will let people come and go, but he'll probably want a concession where, okay, once I'm out of the picture, I still want to be around. I want to live comfortably, and I don't want any threat of assassination. So he might be willing to maybe go into exile somewhere and live out his remaining days with his wife. And maybe that's what will happen. And that would be a good thing. Because I don't think China has any stomach for a war with the United States. And because China, their economy is going really well, although they're kind of slumping right now, but it's in their best interest to not get into a fighting war with the United States, because it could damage their economy and make it really hard to control the billions of people that they have in that country. So, all right, we got some people here. All right, we got some Kimball guys here. Scott Patterson, James Nope. Then we got Bernie, Frank, and Ed. All right, we got a good gaggle of people. So welcome to the show. So I hope this is informative, and so that's basically where the Democrats have failed on the economic front and the foreign policy front. So now, why don't the Democrats? Why don't they like this great economy? Well, because and what Donald Trump is doing. Well, because it damages their credibility because they're all about one world government. They think that the United States should be subordinate to a main body like the United Nations, and they want a outcome based economy where the government controls well, not production, that'd be more along the communist line, but they want to control the amount of goods that people can consume. Uh, for example, like luxury homes, yachts, they want to discourage people from buying those. So they want to push down the standard of living for people to where uh, they don't want people to buy those luxury goods. And it's just another way to control the people because Democrats basically think that people are stupid, that people are incapable of making uh, decisions in their own best interest. So they think that government should make decisions for people for their own good, uh, such as well, high gas prices uh, discourages people from driving. When people drive less, there are fewer auto accidents. So they think well, we're saving lives by having high gasoline prices. And it also forces more people to live in inner cities like New York and Chicago. Frankly, I have no desire to want to live in a high density city in a uh, like a high rise apartment or what we in the Soviet Union they call flats, where you have projects that people live in. Sadly, the flats, yeah, they have elevators, but they don't work because what happens when you have people living in subsidized housing? Well, everything gets wrecked because nobody has respect for property because they don't own it. So they go and destroy it. So that's why if you look at Cabrini Greens in Chicago, it was a hellhole. Nothing worked. The plumbing was horrible. The heating. Uh, you had to take the stairs because the elevators did not work most of the time, and it's just a really crappy place to live. And I frankly do not want to live in a high density apartment. And now I live in an apartment right now. It is pretty nice, and I don't feel like I'm cramped in. Uh, I've got a 650 square foot apartment, 2 bedroom, and for one guy, that's plenty of room. This is my office. This is the second bedroom, the smallest bedroom, and it makes a great office. So there you have it. I don't want to live in a tiny studio apartment where my bedroom is right next to my kitchen. That's just how I am. I'm a product of the 60s and 70s, and I like open spaces. Because I lived here in Colorado for most of my childhood, I really like the open spaces. Now, I was reading earlier today about Colorado. Back in the 70s, we were just over 2 million people here. And I-25 going north and south, 2 lanes each direction, plenty of traffic. I mean, not traffic, but plenty of space. There are no traffic jams. Now we're over 5 million people. And congestion on I-25 is just crazy, especially going from Denver to Colorado Springs. It is a mess. When I go visit my friends down Pueblo, just north of Colorado Springs, it's a traffic jam. So they need to widen that road. And the reason it's not widened is because the Democrats here in Colorado are taking all that money. It should go into transportation, and it's going into education. And most of that money is going into either para or it's going into the teachers union. And the teachers union, they spent a lot of the dues for political purposes. So that is another story that we can get into. So, which leads me into another topic, and that is, okay, how are we doing fundraising for candidates for state house, state senate, treasurer, governor? All right, I was just looking a little earlier today on the governor's race. Jared Polis has over $6 million that he has, and a lot of that is money that's his money that he's loaned himself. Plus, he's a big time Democrat, so he knows a lot of the big people in the Democrat Party in DC, and so he's getting a lot of coin coming in that way. Now, and then you look at Mike Johnson. He's doing pretty well. He's close to $2 million. And Kerry Kennedy, I believe, is at $1.2 million. So they're in a heated heated primary. So that'll be interesting to see how that pans out. A lot of Democrats here in Colorado do not like Jared Polis because they think he's too far to the left and that he will not carry counties. I mean, he could have a hard time getting Jefferson and Arapahoe County, the two key counties, to win Colorado. He definitely won't get the West Slope, and he may have a hard time getting southern Colorado, such as Pueblo. So he might have it. If he wins, he'll have an uphill battle. Now, Mike Johnson, even though he's trying to act like he's a moderate, he's still a far left wing Democrat. Same with Kerry Kennedy. But Kerry Kennedy, she is tainted by the Hancock scandal because she is the Denver County Treasurer. And the Denver County Treasurer is responsible for payouts to lawsuits and stuff like that in Denver for prisoners who get roughed up by the cops or killed accidentally by by cops and scandals such as the Hancock prostitution scandal, which has now morphed into a sexual scandal with a former detective who was on his not bodyguard, but his protection detail. So he sent some inappropriate texts. And now his son was pulled over. And I don't know. I think he was arrested for mouthing off at a cop in Aurora, saying, "Hey, don't you know who my dad is? He's the mayor," and blah, blah, blah. So now Mayor Hancock has that hanging over. So Kerry Kennedy should know where the money is, who's cutting the checks for these payouts or pay-ups, and all that. So she's tainted in that respect. On the Republican side, the big money winner is Victor Mitchell. He's got $3 million. Most of it is spent. I think he's got about less than $1 million left, and most of that he loaned himself. And from what I'm hearing from people that I know, because I have connections, he could be loaning more money to his campaign. Then there's George Lopez. Not George. I'm thinking about the comedian Greg Lopez, the former mayor of Parker, Colorado. Unfortunately, only has $20,000. I like Greg. He's a great guy. He would make a great governor. If he could raise the money, that would be awesome. But he's having a hard time raising money. Well, look at the field that's left over, because he survived the state assembly, and he got 4 candidates on the Republican side. You've got Doug Robinson, where last week I was calling Greg. He's Doug Robinson. Walker Stapleton. Who else? Greg Lopez. And there's somebody else, and I can't remember his name, but he's got some people that are, Victor Mitchell. And so he's having a hard time getting money, because we got 3 big hitters. Robinson, he's only got like about $300,000. So he's going to have a really hard time. He just recently had a fundraiser where his uncle, Mitt Romney, showed up and helped him raise quite a bit of money. So we got that race. Then we got the treasurer's race. We got Brian Watson, Polly Lawrence, and Justin Everett. Justin Everett has something like $40,000. Not bad, but not good for a statewide race. Polly Lawrence has close to $1 million. Not bad. Brian Watson has over $1 million, and he's definitely the front runner in the money race. Now, of the 3, Brian Watson is the only one that's not in government, even though he ran for offices before and lost. So he's got a good shot at winning the primary. Holly Lawrence, likable gal, pretty good legislator, did a good job at the Capitol. Uh, Justin Everett, he would make a good treasurer. His thing is he's well, he's very conservative. He's part of the RMGO crowd, which is not very popular in many parts of the state because of the tactics that they chose to use in primaries, which turn off a lot of people. And if you look at Justin's record, if you're, I'm a conservative Republican. He's got a really good uh, track record, but since he says no to everything, how do you lead? Where Polly Lawrence, maybe her record isn't as good as Justin, but she's learned how to govern. That's what a leader does. A leader gets things done. If you want to advance your policies and your ideas, you have to you have to do a little horse trading, compromise, but do it in a way to where it advances your cause and gets your agenda moving. So there's where the money. Okay, now we're going to get into the House and Senate races, the state House and state Senate. Uh, uh, since I'm in House District 29, Grady Lewis is doing a really good job raising money. He's raised twice as much money that Susan Kochevar raised in her last race last 2 years ago, but is well behind Tracy Kraft Tharp. She's got something like uh, close to $60,000, where Grady Lewis only has $13,000. And also, the other thing that's going to make it really tough for Grady is a libertarian is running. So that's going to siphon off a lot of votes from Grady Lewis because he's about as conservative as can be, but he's not going to win people in this area where I live. I live in a low income area, and not necessarily all Democrat here. I think we've got a pretty good chunk of Republicans and Democrats and independents. I would imagine mostly independent voters here. But I don't see Grady picking up very many votes in this precinct here and the precincts around here because he just, he's just not the kind of candidate that fits for this area. All right, so let's go to the state Senate races. Now, I looked at Tony Sanchez's treasurer chest. He's doing great. He's raised about $40,000, which that's not bad for a state Senate race. Although the, there there are two Democrats in a primary for that uh, state Senate race, and Brittany Peterson has close to $70,000 or $80,000. So she's the hands-on favorite to win that primary. Uh, but luckily for Tony, there's no libertarian running in that district. although that district, I think, leans Democrat anyway. So that he may be able to pull it out. Now, in Christine Jensen's race, she's got a libertarian running, and that's what kept the Democrat in that district the last time when Sherry John beat Larry Queen. And Larry did a pretty good job raising money, but he just sadly had a libertarian that was siphoning votes away from him. So uh, I saw Christine at the Foothills Republican meeting this last Thursday. Really liked her. She got a really nice write up in the Arvada paper. That's great. But she's got an uphill battle there as well. Let's see. The other two Senate races, I haven't checked the money on Tim Neville and his opponent. He's also got a libertarian running in that district. And I think Tim will pull it out. It'll probably be one of the closest races in the Senate. I think that one will be close. Now, Beth Humenick, she also has a libertarian, and then she has a Faith Winners, the one who knocked Steve Lebsack out of the treasurer's race and got him kicked out of the assembly. That will be, well, I hope Beth pulls it out, but I don't see her winning it because you got a really, the guy that's running the Adams County Republicans is really not doing a very good job there. He's alienating a lot of Republicans because he's a hardline social issues conservative. Which, you know, I'm pretty socially conservative myself, but his deal is he has a litmus test, and if you don't pass that litmus test, you're not going to get money from the county Republicans. So, and Beth, who is a moderate Republican, is going to have a really hard time getting any support from the county GOP. And I don't see Adams County picking up any House seats or any state Senate seats. I think they're going to lose a lot of races this year. So that's what's happening in Adams County. So let's get down to my new venture here. A couple weeks ago, almost 3 weeks ago, I passed my FAA Part 107 drone operators or commercial drone operator certificate. I passed my exam. I'm going to show you my equipment. Oh, let's see if I can do this. And I dropped the remote. That's great. All right, here is my drone. This is the drone that I flew at the Enstrom Ranch a little over a week ago. This is my DJI Phantom Standard. See, it says Phantom Standard. And it takes pretty darn good video and photos. It's 2.7K video. Put that down right there. And so you're probably wondering, well, what can you do with the drone? Well, I'm glad you asked. There's a lot you could do with the drone. You could assist insurance companies with claims by flying your drone out to an accident site where you could get maybe a better perspective of the accident. You get, or say your roof gets damaged by heavy, heavy winds or hail. I could do roof examination. I could, I could inspect property for damage. That's one thing I could do to help with the insurance company. Real estate. I could help get some really good video footage and some photographs of the property from, uh, a different perspective. Rather than on the ground level, you can see the house, how it looks from above. And then also, here's the unique thing is you can take that drone, you can back it away, and you can see the house, and you can see what the neighborhood looks like. You can see if there are any major roads nearby, or there are schools nearby, or there are hospitals, manufacturing. If you don't want a house that's near a manufacturing plant, or heaven forbid there is a grow facility, you don't want to get surprised and moved in and find out, what is that smell? And you find out there's a grow facility half a mile away that's stinking up the neighborhood. Or worse yet, what if you're near a small refinery or an asphalt company? That you don't want that. So that helps realtors that way. What if you have large properties like ranches? I could videotape and photograph the property there. So it helps in selling property. Also, I could use this for marketing. Say you own a business, a restaurant, uh, like auto repair. I can give you photograph and video of your business. And you get to see, okay, what's the traffic patterns around that business, uh, and so forth. I could do this, other than building inspections. I can inspect transmission lines. I can inspect cell towers. I can inspect radio and TV towers. So there's a lot of applications to that. Uh, I was talking about marketing. I could go either up in the mountains or out in the plains. I could take video that could be used in uh, a catalog or advertising. It could be used that way. So there's a lot of potential out there. And so I'm currently working on getting my website up. So soon here, I'm going to set up a GoFundMe account to raise a few dollars to get a really nice website going, possibly getting some more equipment. I mean, this is a pretty darn good drone. It does a good job, but what I like to do is get another drone that has 4K capability so that I can get really good video and photographs with that. And plus, it's always good to have a backup too, in case this one something happens and I need another aircraft out there to help me out. What else? Oh, I'm insured, so I'm licensed. I'm insured. I get insurance on the spot on my phone. I have an application when I get to a job site. I just press that button, and depending on the location, if there's no heavy air traffic patterns, or I'm outside an airspace that has a lot of traffic, my insurance will go low. So, and it's really reasonable. Like, I get $10 for an hour, which $1 million coverage. So that's pretty darn good. And so now you know my capabilities. There are several businesses here in the Front Range. I'm just jumping in, and maybe I could help bring the price down with a little bit of competition. I do a good job. Uh, Maybe I could help thin the herd out and uh, get better quality service out there. So I've changed the name. It's not Artco Drone Solutions. It's called Artco Drone Service. So that's going to be the name of the company, and I think that is a little more accurate because I'm offering a service. Later on, I would like to get another drone that gives me infrared capabilities so that I could, when I'm inspecting a house, I could find out where the heat is escaping in the house, so you can insulate the roof a little better, so you can pinpoint where the problem areas are for energy that is escaping from the house. Say you want air conditioning, but the house is still staying hot. That's because you got a leak somewhere where the cold air is going outside and it's not staying in the house and cooling the house down. That's another application. Also, for agriculture, we could find out, okay, what are the spots that need more fertilizer or more water to optimize the your crop production or the farmer's crop production. Uh, Other aspects I could help with water rescue, where I could get my drone out there and I could find the person that's in distress, possibly get them a life vest or a rope out to them. That's one respect. Or say you're up in the mountains and you got a hiker that has disappeared. With the drone, I could cover more area from above than someone walking on the ground, and that could help out in that respect. Uh, we just had a plane crash in the Parker area. I can have the drone out there during daylight and get a perspective of the crash site. Uh, I mean, there is so much uh, a drone can do to help people out. So I'm learning more and more about the business, and they are fun to fly. And if you like flying either a fixed wing remote vehicle or a multi prop vehicle, hey, these are fun. When I first got, I remember years ago, my brother-in-law got me one of those little helicopters, and boy, that was yeah. Steve Epstein made a good point. Finding lost pets. Say you're a rancher, and you have a calf that it has gone astray. You can help find that calf. Uh, Possibly that calf has fallen somewhere, is in distress, and you need to find that calf before a predator gets to it. Uh, what else I was talking? All sorts of stuff. Um, oh, I was talking about that little helicopter. It was just a little tiny thing, but boy, that thing was a real pain in the butt to try to fly because I ended up crashing it most of the time. Uh, the first drone I ever bought, if you could see over my shoulder over here, that little black drone, that's a Bugs 3, and that doesn't have GPS capabilities. So that thing is harder to fly because uh, you have to fight the wind. And it's, but it made me a better pilot. So got this guy, and I've done some upgrades on it. I got some new props. And that's another reason why I want to do the GoFundMe is I don't know how old these batteries are. Uh, I would like to get newer batteries for it, and if I get a Phantom 4, that's the next model up, and that that's fairly current. These are not in production anymore. Now they're coming out with the Phantom 4 2.0, which has some upgrades to it. And another one that I would like to get is the Mavic Air or the Mavic Pro. And those are the ones with the fold up uh, arms, and even the props fold up, and they're easy to carry around. So if I go on trips overseas, I can take that with me and get some really nice video from that. But when I go to the Philippines, I'm taking this guy. I've got a really nice uh, padded pack that I can stick it in, and so I could bring some really good video of my trip to the Philippines. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground in about an hour here. Yep, it's been an hour on Facebook here. Let's see on YouTube. Yep, an hour and 2 minutes. Okay, so uh, I want to thank you all for joining in on Art's Place, where we will discuss more political topics and other things out there other than politics. I want to thank Guy and Charlie and Margot, Danny, Mark, Craig, Dennis, Nancy, Ken Tojam Morris, Johnny Tumbleweed. Uh, Johnny, I remember him back at the Bengals days when he was Johnny G from G Force. All right. So, hey, thank you very much for joining the show. Have a great Mother's Day, and God bless you, and God bless America. Uh, Goodbye. Bye bye.